Nation.
SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first. Then you act.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Spartan Nation Radio. We now bring in Spartan Nation senior writer Johnny Shop to talk about the state of Michigan State basketball. John, 21 days, 3 victories over Michigan. What is the state of Michigan State basketball?
Fantastic right now. What a performance by this basketball team. Look, we covered Michigan State sports top to bottom, left to right. We try to call it as fair as can be. Sometimes people say, boy, guys are a little too tough on the Spartans. Other times they say, boy, you guys are blowing sunshine. Here's the fact of the matter. It's a 28-6 basketball team. They had 3 matchups with Michigan here at the end of the year. You would not have expected them to win all 3, given all that happened. And the most improbable one, of course, was the one they pull off Sunday after it looks like all hope is lost. As Kyle Lawrence goes down, his ankle pops, most likely a ligament. They think he's possibly broken it. They know he's done for the game. So this is a fantastic moment in Michigan State basketball. It's a team that's overcome just about as much as any. It's a team that's won the Big Ten and won the Big Ten exhibition tournament. All that does is put more credence that they are the champion team of the Big Ten for this season. All that comes before the extraordinary insult that was the seeding that I'm sure we'll talk about, but let's take a little time and celebrate what this team has accomplished. They probably overachieved based on what we would have expected, given everything that happened, especially around the midpoint and the latter point of the season with the injuries. So in this case, you've got to say this is a team that left a giant footmark in the sand, to borrow an Izzo phrase.
John, for you, I don't think there's any doubt. I've maintained for years Drew Neitzel's junior year was Tom Izzo's best coaching job. As great as that was, it falls to second place. I don't care if they lose in the first round of the dance. Best job ever by Tom Izzo. Agree or disagree?
Well, it is now, especially when you just throw the whole kitchen sink at them on Sunday. You say, okay, well, here you go. You've got an absolutely motivated Michigan. The only ones coming up blank. They didn't get a taste of the Big Ten. They lost at Purdue. They lost to Michigan State twice. So they are very likely going to come in and win this game handily. You've got Michigan State playing ball, then a severe injury to a starter that's already banged up. That's it. Game over. There's no way. And then they pull it out. Incredible, with a great run to close. We've talked about this as the season has gone on. I'm now pretty clearly convinced, like you are. I do not think there's a question. This result was just phenomenal, and it just goes down as Izzo's best coaching job. And to me, it goes down as a completion of a circle for a guy who struggled at times to change how he coached. So, we could go back almost 8 or 10 years ago. You see Mike Krzyzewski saying he's changed the way he's coached basketball 5 or 6 times because of rule changes, because of kids change, parents change, etc. And Izzo, I think, struggled with that at times. Then you go closer to 5 years ago. Izzo says, yeah, this is a reboot. This is Spartan Basketball 2.0. The game has changed. The rules have changed. We've got to change. I thought that Michigan State was ahead of the curve in really being the best team in the country in 2016. I was surprised how quickly Tom Izzo had success in Spartan Basketball 2.0. Now, this success this year and what he has pulled off and his staff has pulled off, to me, is really a sign that a circle has been completed and he has completely, successfully launched Spartan Basketball 2.0, the way the game has changed so much. So in a funny way, it actually is encouraging to me that this dog still got some fight in him, and there's very likely going to be another couple of serious runs at a second national title for Tom Izzo. I think so.
Let's go and talk about the elephant in the room, the draw. It was completely disrespectful of the Big Ten. Every rating, KenPom, CBS, ESPN, said that the Big Ten was the best conference. They got 8 bids, more than anyone else. They play a 20-game schedule. No one else does. Oh, by the way, no one number 1 seed, but the guys from the ACC get 3. To me, it's a complete joke. To me, it tells us the committee is a joke. It's an insult to the Big Ten. Your thoughts?
First and foremost, it's an absolute insult to the Big Ten. Maybe before that, it's a stark incompetence. At a time when the sport continues to free fall, the Final Four this year is back on network, but it's drifting towards a cable sport. You've got incompetent people at some level of this. It's not very difficult to say, look, guys, we got 64 teams coming in here. What we've got to watch out for most is to protect the top, maybe 12. Maybe give me the top 3 lines. You've really got to do a good job of those. And you really have to be able to separate those pretty well. It is very easy to make an argument that a 28-6 Michigan State team that won the Big Ten, that won the Big Ten tournament, is absolutely worthy of a 1 seed instead of North Carolina.
And the most quad 1 wins in a country, and you said quad 1 wins were the most important.
So right there, that's a reasonable argument that's a number 2 overall seed. You could argue Michigan State's a number 2 overall seed. Maybe they're a number 3 overall seed. What you can argue is that they're the 8th overall seed. If you need some help, you go to the polls and you get an idea of that as well. So this is where you've got a total incompetence and a total failure. And in my years watching this, which go about 20 deep pretty strong, this is the biggest insult to the Big Ten that I've ever seen in a seeding. I've seen some bad ones. I've seen the 05 Revenge Tour. I've seen some of the Final Four teams where they had to outlast the Robbie Hummel Purdue's, and Michigan State made Final Fours. Ridiculous seeding for the league. This is the biggest slap of all time. And I don't care if the commissioner of the Big Ten's on the way out or not. I don't know who didn't do their job. I know the committee didn't, but this commissioner's got to be hurting right now. He got the hugest slap in the face. There is no question at all that Michigan State does not belong in the same bracket with Duke. It's not a big difference if you're a 1 or 2 seed. We know that. It's a huge difference if you're a 1 or 3. Okay, let's push that aside. Put in the equation. Get yourself a 25-year-old calculator. You realize that you've got to put the 1 and the 8s together. So if that means Michigan is in Michigan State's spot, that's a reasonable take. If that means Michigan State is going to another bracket, that's fine too. Secondly, and this is what drives me up the wall, after the ridiculous of 2016, Michigan State's the best team in the country, odds-on favorite to win the tournament. They get tripped up by the ridiculous scheduling of having to travel and play too quickly. They got Michigan State playing at 2:45 on Thursday. So that is an absolute inexcusable situation. If the Big Ten Conference Championship is going to be the last game of the day, those teams have to be playing on Friday night as late as reasonably possible. It's a double ridiculousness slap. I'm glad Izzo said something. I don't think he said enough. When you want to figure out why this sport's struggling, you need an example. You see whoever they trotted out there yesterday or the other day to try to explain this seeding debacle. Fans are not 100% geniuses on every of these top 25 or 64 college basketball teams, but they're plenty smart enough to realize how ridiculous this seeding was, how insulting it was to Michigan State, and really insulting to the Big Ten just as much or more than these Spartans.
So, John, let me ask you, as you look at your brackets, how far do you have the Spartans going?
I think there's a great chance they're going to get to Washington, D.C. I think they'll lose in the regional, either the regional final or the regional semifinal. I don't have a lot of confidence in that because of what happened in 2016. It's very possible that somebody else could get hurt or that there's a second-round game plan that could be enough for them. This is weird because it's almost like the tournament it's not an afterthought, but I almost look at it as the season's already over. You're not going with a full deck. Then you have the ridiculousness of the seeding. And God bless America. I hope the next time there's a Big Ten tournament and it's an exhibition, I hope Michigan State absolutely doesn't play any starters and just says, here's what this is worth. Because that's the only reasonable response I can see to what happened to them. So I don't think this is this is a team that could lose Thursday. This is a team that could lose. Again, I can't say they could get to the regional final, especially without Arns. There's just not enough guys there. But I could see them putting up a fight in the round of 16 game. It's possible. You've got a couple things. I mean, you've got some elements. I'm not saying Cassius Winston is better than I think he is, but if he can get a little healthier, he looks like a guy good enough that can win you a game. And I don't know that I don't think I realized that until these recent weeks.
John, very quickly, take Cassius Winston out of the mix. Who is the most important player on this team?
Well, the most important player left on this team is one of two guys. It's either Kenny Goins or it is Xavier Tillman. And it's maybe one of three guys. Matt McQuaid's got to be right there, too, because I think this team's going to have trouble scoring. And I think that those guys draw one out of a hat. To me, that's the most important guy, not named Winston.
If you're Izzo, do you just simply tell Nick Ward, we love you? Mo Pete was a six-man. You're now a six-man. Do you keep Tillman in the starting lineup?
I keep Tillman in the starting lineup. We talked about this last week, and it's a great idea. You keep him in the starting lineup because it's best for the team. The energy, the juice, the jolt that he can bring, even if he comes in the first minute or two, like I thought we might see when one of those games last weekend got off to a slow start. That's what we need to do for the rest of the year, Nick. That's what we need to do for the rest of the year. It's really that simple. If some lightning strikes and you get to the Final Four, we'll worry about that then. But for now, for these next 2 weekends, absolutely, that's the thing to go with.
He is Spartan Nation senior writer Johnny Shop. I'm Hondo Carpenter. You're listening to the Spartan Nation Radio Network.